Ross, buddy, what kind of insulation is this supposed to be? If you kill us, Matthias will drag me back from beyond the grave just to give me an earful. Scrap this and start again. I will double check it. Your lordship. The light from the Infernus Master's glow stick reveals his surprise but amiable expression. Arnik's lip is split, and a fresh bruise is blossoming on his cheekbone. Lord Captain, I didn't expect to see you in this compartment. Are you out on a stroll, taking in the sights of your domain? The blue glow of plasma is especially striking at this time of the watch. You're the most mawkish Infernus I've ever met, Master Montag. A burly man in coveralls furrows his bushy eyebrows. His sparse hair stands on end. Your lordship, welcome. I'm Shift Foreman Nige, in charge of this section. If you need anything, I'm here to help. Furnace Master, what exactly are you doing here? Gesture of the bruise, who did this? Nige, have you ever seen a symbol that looks like a serpent in front of a star? Want to know more about this bay? Shift Mormon, tell me about yourself. What kind of person are you? Yeah, Infernus Master, what exactly are you doing here? I'm carrying out a routine drive inspection. The regulations require scheduled checks to make sure the insulation isn't weakened. The sensors have been tampered with, and the reactor isn't about to blow up anytime soon. Just business as usual. It is strange that the senior officer is conducting the inspection alone. According to regulations, there should be an entire squad of Inferni, and the personal presence of the Infernus Master is necessary only in emergencies. Heinrich, why are you really here? Found me out, have you? Heinrich gives you a wink and pulls on his glow stick. I'm not really here about the reactor. I heard a rumor that you'd gone to investigate the plasma drive chambers, so I thought I'd make sure everything went smoothly. Your lordship is accustomed to associating with people of your rank, or officers at the very least, but here, this place is home to voidfarers or simpler manners, whose clan customs may be unfamiliar to you. The voidfarer of simpler manners furrows his brow. Our customs are decent ones, Master Montag. I'd rather boil myself in plasma than let anything happen to the Lord Captain. No offense, Nige, but if you can find even 3 people in this bay who can give a report without turning the air blue, I'll gladly admit I was wrong. Heinrich grins at the now silent Nige. You're a good bunch. I'd hate to see you insult his lordship with some foolishness and not even realize it. If we're supposed to be doing a investigation into a secret cult, the fact it got bandied about the bridge is not ideal. But okay. It's possible he's in on it, and he's here to just make sure we don't find anything, but I'm not going to assume that yet. Thank you, Heinrich. I'm just keeping an eye out, your lordship. Feel free to ask old Nige any questions you may have. He knows the plasma drive chambers like the back of his hand. That's right, your lordship. If something isn't to your liking, or if you find anything suspicious, come to me at once. Just to the bruises on his face. Heinrich, who did this to you? Heinrich rubs his grazed knuckles. A little gift to remember the enforcers by. We've had a small disagreement. They thought they had the right to beat and starve innocent people while investigating the incident in your lordship's bath chamber. I thought their noses were too straight, and they had too many teeth, so we politely exchanged opinions. An enforcer's baton is pretty sturdy, but not as thick as the skull of a hard-boiled Infernus. I have to give it to Jocasta. Her officers earn their rations. They clobber you good. Nige, have you ever seen a symbol that looks like a serpent in front of a star? Somebody keeps daubing it on the equipment and bulkheads. If I find the scoundrels, I'll tear their hands off and send them for servitorization. The shift foreman frowns. Is it some kind of sedition? I didn't know. If you see one of these, let me know. We'll try and find these artists. Heinrich rolls his glow stick back and forth thinking, I've also seen it on some of the bulkheads, crates, doors. I just assumed it was a mark of some small clan. Many voidsmen mark their workplaces with family symbols. Alright, I want to know more about this bay. We are proud of our chambers. Power feeds the ship's main engines from here. There are other drives on this ship, but ours is the mightiest. That's to say, we do important work. Working with plasma is dangerous, but we have a good crew, and not too many incidents. The esteemed tech priests are satisfied with us. The machine spirits are all working as they should. The Inferni don't complain about us either. We fix cracks in the reactor vessel on time, and we fix leaks. Alright, Shift Foreman, tell me about yourself. What kind of person are you? Nige looks at you in confusion. I'm a voidsman. Your lordship? Grew up on Footfall, joined the crew at 14. Spent my whole life in this bay. I've raised no family and made no fortunes, but I've climbed my way up the ranks. I don't know anything but my trade and this compartment. I am my trade in this compartment, Lord Captain. Do I send off my Infernus Master? If he's guilty, having him around is a problem. But if he's not, having him around could help point out things that are unusual. I'm gonna send him away. So we see this compartment as it normally is, without him watching over us. Just in case. Infernus Master, the ship foreman and I shall handle this without you. Return to your duties. As your lordship wishes, I might as well carry out a bay inspection then, since I'm here. I wouldn't interfere in your business. Yeah. I don't know about you. You're seeming awfully shifty here. Alright, Argenta.
Join me in prayer.
You also got a level up. Can't give you ballistic skill, sadly. Could boost her perception. Reduces enemy dodge chance. It's not bad. Or agility. Improves character's initiative, dodge chance, and reaction. I think we'll go with perception for you over agility. You're not usually up front in danger of being attacked yourself. And then skills. Always the hard part. Or talents, I suppose. Lineage of Hatred, I keep thinking about. Melee Flame and Melta attacks against demons and psykers deal more damage. You don't use Melee Flame or Melta yet. Because we haven't found any great Flame or Melta weapons. So I haven't invested in Flame or Melta for the same reason. And they're all super short range. We'd have to run her forward into like melee combat range effectively. We could do it. But typically we just leave her in the back with a sniper rifle and just shoot things. Yeah, nothing here really calls out to me. I'll grab Litany of Hatred for now. Is that really valuable? Sure. It's just a boost whenever she uses her Hymn of Faith. So now we need to look around and try and figure out what's actually been going on here. Shift yourselves, you brainless lumps. If I catch any of you slacking, I'll leave you without rations. Bunch of no-name people.
A new challenge for me?
Got a servitor over here and something that's sparking. Check out over here first. Deck Enforcers. Anything of note? Probably not. Nope. Did it break down already? Try turning that thing around manually. It's got an emergency panel on its back. Alright, turn the servitor. With a pitiful clanking sound, the servitor's claw docks with the mechanism and begins to perform the necessary manipulations. Okay. So we've got a servitor that we can turn to have it start interacting with the mechanism. Or not.
I'll lay claim to the stars.
This looks like a standard owlcat puzzle. With a pitiful clanking sound, the servitor's claw docks, blah blah blah. So we've got a bunch of servitors that are just not working. Oh, probably to call the cargo lift. So if I try calling the cargo lift, for now, it'll fail. It did not fail. Well, I am incorrect about that. Punished Breacher's Aquila. Enemies within the wearer's area of attack suffer -6 dodge, and allies within the wearer's area of attack gain +6 dodge. Meh. Doesn't seem that important. And then backpack with armor piece piercing ammo. Wow, my mouth is not working. The wearer's ranged attacks inflict 0 levels of bleeding on their targets. What is that 0? Armor penetration divided by 5. So if someone had armor penetration, then they would do bleeding damage. But otherwise that does nothing. Oh, I think I didn't actually grab these. We did also get the ice-covered Aquila that I was thinking about. It replaces... Oh, I don't even have anything in that spot. Perfect. So this goes in the cloak slot. If we chose someone like Argenta, 3 levels of bleeding. 15% armor against warp damage. I think that's worthwhile. Yeah, I think I'm good with that. So that clearly was not a puzzle. Oh. No, that was a puzzle for this. Because now we can't interact with them anymore. I thought we would need to turn this guy as well, because I thought he was an option. He's clearly not facing a useful direction. Esteemed Tech Priest Deltar, this is unacceptable. For the 10th time, you've sent us to the same faulty servitors. It's been over 2 weeks, and we still can't raise the lift that's stuck between our platforms and platform 92M, all because of your servitors. For the love of the throne, decommission these things if you can't fix them. Respectfully, Shiftform and Nige. Nige. And once again, I didn't actually grab it. I just closed the inventory. There we go. I'll talk to you both later. For now, I'm going to keep wandering.
We should deal with this.
Cash note. All this scrapped reads is received, need more. That sounds, yeah, cryptic. Have something. There it is. Okay. I was like, where is that highlighting? It's downstairs.
Follow my lead.
But yeah, I think we'll explore first before we talk to those in charge. No one of note, and no obvious awareness checks to find symbols painted on the ground. Improvised Weber. I don't think I cared about the one we found before. Oh, is that our symbol that we're looking for? Could be. Hasn't been pointed out to us, which usually I would think it would be with an awareness test. Examine the symbol. You can just make out a faded symbol on one of the tiles, a serpent and a star. There appears to be someone's stash behind it, but the stash has long been abandoned. Yeah, so that is our symbol that we're keeping an eye out for.
It's about time.
Heed these words and commit not the transgression of industrial accident. Praise the Omnissiah thrice, and only then lay your hand upon the lever. Pull the lever with confidence and restraint, for the machine spirit tolerates not haste.
Search is my observance.
Let's keep looting all the things. But yeah, no one named stands out. I mean, you're talking, your text is in bold when I highlight, but no, tech priests absorbed in their work.
I am registering 137 violations of the Catechism of Maintenance and Operation here. Initializing enumeration. 1. Keep the through thread as your augmetic eye.
Wow.
Victory awaits.
Huh. Now we're back over to here. Okay, we've been through this whole area, I think. There's another area here that we didn't get down to. Is that over here? Yeah, seems to be these platforms, but we can't actually get to them. But like most of them don't show up as real traversable locations. But I think it's that one does. Which is odd to me. No, these are also showing up. Okay. I think it's fine. So let's get back to you guys. We've definitely found signs of that cult symbol. Can't talk to Nij, so we'll talk to Montag again. Nij bows deferentially. How goes the search, your lordship? There was an old cache under one of the serpent symbols. Show the note. Show the improvised Weber. There was an old cache under one of the serpent symbols. That's just what we need. More secret stashes. I hope there was nothing forbidden in it. Forgive me, your lordship, but voidsmen are simple folk. I've been trying to warn them off their grubby habits for years, but give them anything worth having, and all they want to do is hide it in a hole like a rat. I found this in one of the caches. What is this? Nij's thick eyebrows knit together angrily, and you almost think you can see a power charge jolt across them. We've got smugglers on the loose. Who else would be hiding these strange messages? I'll have them all drawn and quartered on the turbine. I will. Now I'd like to find out what they're smuggling. Well, we found this improvised Weber. I found this in a cache marked with a serpent. Nij holds the weapon as if it's going to bite him, sweat beading on his forehead. Machine sparks shake me. A homemade weapon and assembled right in this compartment. The markings are the same as those on local machine parts. This is a very serious matter. It seems someone is plotting a riot and secretly building their own arsenal from scavenged materials right under our noses. We need to find and capture whoever set up these caches and hid the weapons. The shift foreman shrugs sheepishly. To tell you the truth, I'm no good at hunting rule breakers. It's not what I do. You give the orders and we will do it. Set an ambush near the caches. Sooner or later someone will come to check on them, or we shall conduct a raid. We'll turn the place upside down but we'll find them. Set an ambush. I think that's a smarter choice than doing a full-on raid. The shift foreman's thick fingers drum thoughtfully on his tool belt. If these guys are smart, they'll spot the enforcers near the cache and stay out of sight, and your lordship would be spotted even quicker. I mean, that's fair. So we could do a raid. We could have Nij's people lie in wait. Or we can have the Inferni. They often carry out inspections here. No one will suspect them. Question is, who is guilty of these two? I'm going to assume that he's on our side. He's been with us from the beginning. Because if Nij is part of the cult, though you would think that if he was lying, we would get a check to spot that. But if he's with the cult, then having him choose his own people to lie in wait won't get us any information. But same problem with Montag. So yeah, we'll use the Inferni. They often carry out inspections here, no one will suspect them. Hey Montag, come over here. We need a couple of your braver boys and girls for a job. Nij smiles and adds more quietly. We need people to keep watch over something, and maybe to break a few noses. Clenching his fists until his knuckles crack, Heinrich resolutely says, We'll help. I have a couple of people in mind, tough lads. I'll get them here right away. Okay, so we could still do these other ones as well. I think if we don't find anything with the ambush, maybe then we can raid. But immediately just turning the place upside down feels like a choice we don't have to make now, I hope. Nij, shall we have your people lie in wait? The shift foreman's voice grows quieter. I just wish I knew who to trust with it. Our villain could be anyone from the Bay crew. If we pick the wrong person, we'll blow the whole ambush. We need someone from the outside who won't draw attention to themselves. Okay. Then I'm ready. Let's catch that vermin. Heinrich smirks ominously. He throws the low stick butt on the floor and puts it out with his boot. Consider the dirt bag caught, Ignatius. Wow, you're being extremely suspicious. Oh, you lost something, Bren. Let's give a hand. Get him, boys. Also walking around with an obvious gun on your back. Like, this feels a lot like the previous quest that we did last week, where someone walked into our interrogation and is like, yep, I'm totally guilty. Trust me, I'm guilty. Because he was forced to do it with penalty to his family. Like, if someone gave away that this was happening and forced this guy to give himself up in a very obvious show. I don't know. The man kneeling before you has an ungainly build, a stubborn jaw and a heavy gaze. He looks no different from any other worker in this compartment, except for the tattoo on his forearm. Its design resembling a worm devouring a star. I mean, he's got a tattoo, not just some temporary drawings on him. One of the Infernus workers is holding the Weber taken from the prisoner, exactly like the one that was in the cache. The Master-at-Arms regards the Infernus sternly. The weapon, hand it over. What you saw, keep it to yourself. She forces out the words through clenched teeth. Your cooperation with the enforcers will be noted. Heinrich does not take his eyes off the prisoner's neck, his lips twisted in distaste. Yeah, let's study the prisoner first. The pigment of the tattoo looks fresh, standing out starkly against the color of his skin, which means that it is a very recent addition. You look closely and notice a pair of scars at the base of his neck, suspiciously reminiscent of an almost healed bite. Okay. The recent tattoo could go along with the suspicion that he was recently forced to do this. But an odd old bite mark on his neck does stand out. Heinrich, you're going to burn a hole in him with that glare of yours. Who is this man? Good work, Heinrich. Were your people harmed or address the prisoner? Well, you feel like talking yet? Heinrich, you're going to burn a hole in him with that glare of yours. The interrogator slowly shakes his head. It's too early for that. Let's see what he has to say first. Who is this man? Shof Galai, servant of the Blessed Lathe Beta 2 Diligence, low-ranking worker, easily replaceable, no apparent signs of mutation. Good work, Heinrich. Were any of your people harmed? Thank you, your lordship. Not a scratch on us. He's a piece of work, right enough, but he's no fuel compartment fire. More like a sparking cogitator. Sarvat glares at him with almost visible jealousy, but Heinrich just keeps grinning smugly. I guess that's true. Because we didn't bring her in on it, we wanted to solve this ourselves. We then had to use his enforcer or his people to help, and so Sauerback's probably feeling a little upset that we solved a criminal case without bringing her in it, because that's kind of her job as the leader of the enforcers. Well, do you feel like talking yet? The prisoner gives you the smile of a man condemned and snaps, I've got nothing to say to you, heretic. You're calling me a heretic. Choking with rage, Sauerback grabs the maul from her belt and rasps, allow me, Lord Captain, please. Or me, Heinrich menacing scowl has instantly robbed him of his friendly charm. I'd be happy to oblige. I'm the heretic, am I? Either fear has robbed him of reason, or he has a very skewed perspective. That's what I'm saying. Calm yourself, talk to me, and I will not let these people do what they intend to do. Raise your voice, watch your tongue, peasant. You are in the presence of a rogue traitor. I'll oversee the interrogation myself. Heinrich, make him regret his words, or Jocasta is all yours. No, definitely top one. I'm the heretic, am I? Either fear has robbed him of his reason, or he has a very skewed perspective. The prisoner jerks as if trying to point at you with his tied hands. You're a false believer, a fake captain. You're leading people into the gloom of heresy, away from salvation. Argenta exhales hoarsely. Damn you all, distorters of holy words. Cassia whispers in mesmerized horror. His soul is pale, almost colorless, but alien hues have seeped into it, unthinkable and insane, and they came from without. Yeah, calm yourself, talk to me, and I will not let these people do what they intend to do. If he doesn't talk to me, yeah, we let Jocasta go at him. But if he's willing to talk and explain, maybe we don't. The man laughs with contempt and starts chanting, tempting are the promises of heretics, but barren are as the darkness-cursed void in which they bury the souls of those who trust them. Okay, so he's not willing to just talk if we give him the option. We're probably going to have to beat the truth out of him. Watch your tongue, peasant. You are in the presence of the rogue traitor. Terrorize me, torment me, gratify your rotten heart, heretic. Know the strength of the martyr's spirit and come to fear it. The prisoner's eyes flash as he gives you an inviting gap-toothed smile. So do we oversee it? Do we give it to Heinrich or do we give it to Jocasta? We know Jocasta has a very, very strong cruel streak where she likes beating people up just for the fun of it. We've seen that before. There's a very good chance that she will just kill him and not get any answers. At least that's the vibe I've gotten from her. I'm going to oversee the interrogation myself. I've got Abelard, I've got Heinrichs, Argenta, like, we've got people here that can handle this. Even Cassia's vision of people's souls would probably help. Sorry that I have people who, well, specifically Jocasta, that this is her job, but I'm here. I'm going to take it over. As you command, although I believe this zealot will require some effort, questioning fanatics is a long and exhilarating process. Abelard grumbles, and once again, the Lord Captain is doing his subject's work for them. Dirty, bloody work. Heinrichs, I invite you to demonstrate what an interrogator of the Inquisition is capable of. Pascal, make this unit comply. Fill the visioner's head with visions of warped horrors. You will retch up your short-sighted beliefs in your own courage, along with your confession, insect. Athletics inflict physical torture. Inject him with substances that break the subject's will, but be sure not to melt his brain. Alright, Heinrichs, I invite you to demonstrate what an interrogator of the Inquisition is capable of. The interrogator touches different spots on the prisoner's body, coldly commenting on the effects his sorcery is having on the writhing man. He makes his blood boil, then freeze, then boil again. He arrests his heart, then makes it beat rapidly, then back again. At last, Heinrich steps away. That is very brutal, but he's a biomancer. Like, affecting the functioning of a person's body is what his psychic abilities are all about. I am finished, Ignatius. If that didn't suffice, I do not recommend applying biomancy again. We may lose the prisoner. The man whimpers incoherently, but grits his teeth. Your song, I hear it. I won't break. Sauerback smiles longingly. Not much longer, your lordship. Pascal, make this unit comply. Request approved. You watch the shadow of Pascal's mechadendrites advance on the prisoner before the tech priest's frame blocks your view. You hear the shriek of a drill, the crunching of bone, and screams. Well, I guess Pascal's being just as forceful as Sauerback would have been. When Pascal withdraws, you notice two bleeding, precisely made holes in the prisoner's skull, as well as his twitching, differently sized pupils. You drilled into his skull? Procedure complete. Insignificant parts of the unit's frontal lobe responsible for motivation have been removed. I expect an increase in the unit's obedience levels. So, partially lobotomized him. Awesome. Pascal's voice conveys as much emotion as the sound of his drill. A gurgling sob falls from the man's lips. Stop, I'll talk. Yeah, after that. I didn't realize Pascal would go quite that far. Sauerback looks at him with a radiant smile. The prisoner's ready to cooperate, your lordship. Whom do you serve? How did the conspirators recruit you? What are you plotting, a mutiny? Whom do you serve? The cult of the ravenous star, the true believers, the righteous, the purest congregation, those who hear the songs of his angel. This angel, is that the old sorcerer who appeared before me and promised my demise? Did he brainwash you all, or is someone else leading you? Old sorcerer? No, the angel is not of the woeful human form. He is splendor. His visage is a divine inspiration of the many-armed emperor. You, faithless one, were granted the honor of gazing upon the Magus, our good shepherd, our messenger. The captive lets out a deranged chuckle. If you behold the angel, you will scratch your own brain out through with your eye. You will scratch your own brain out through your eye sockets, for you would realize the depths of your wickedness before him. Okay. Many armed. A deep furrow appears on Sauerback's brow. Blast it, Lord Captain. We are dealing with extremely dangerous xeno cult that excels at hiding amongst humans. Is it Tyranids? I'm guessing it's Tyranids. I fear you are right, Mistress Sauerback. Actually, please continue. I will correct you should your information contradict credible intelligence. What do you know about our enemy? Very little. As per regulations, every Master at Arms passes on special instructions to their successor. Instructions that more resemble disturbing tales. Some of them mention genetic cults, covert clans, cliques, and sects that all share one common trait: xeno infestation. These things pass themselves off as ordinary people, as rabble or preachers corrupting new groups. They pray to their unholy idol, which they often refer to as the many-armed emperor. They create ever-growing families and produce offspring, hideous at first, but with each new generation more and more human in appearance, and then they rise up. Gene stealers, yep. Gene stealers, Ignatius. That is what these enemies of humanity are called. When such a creature bites its victim, it injects its gene into their body and dominates their mind. Or more accurately, it binds it to the shared mind of the brood. The victim undergoes no visible change, but their offspring will carry the brand of inhuman nature. Bestial maws, extra limbs, or something worse at times. Horrific genetic outliers. However, the cult makes sure to keep any of their kind with unnatural appearance out of sight. After several generations, the mutants become practically indistinguishable from humans, but then something in their genes once more begets fully developed xenos, capable of beginning the cycle of infestation anew. Why the many-armed emperor? Their arms, Lord Captain. These xenos have more arms than normal. They twist and pervert our faith, possibly for the sole reason that it gives them blasphemous pleasure. And the more likely reason is that it helps them blend in. They hide their heresy behind the veil of normality. Just one more cult like so many others. Moreover, it's possible that they indeed see their deity that way. Such cultists have been known to describe their grotesque xenos masters as beautiful during interrogations. Monsters are angels to them, and the God Emperor's worshippers are heretics. Why did they choose to act among the rabble specifically? The lower decks have plenty of dark corners for the xenos to lie in wait. Commoners are too dull-witted and spineless to identify the threats before it is too late, and at the same time, they are dull-witted and spineless enough to serve as cannon fodder to be thrown at the cult's enemies when the uprising begins. The poor are less likely to pay attention to strange behavior or disappearances. Even if someone sees a genetic monster, they will chalk it up to a bad case of mutation. Meanwhile, the cult attracts the weak and injured, easy prey for their indoctrination. In other words, it makes for a convenient staging ground. What is their objective? Power, bloody sacrifices to their god? And their end goal is always mutiny. They can prepare for many generations, accumulating weapons and numbers until one day they attack. That day is their day of revelation, the apotheosis of their profane faith. They think that on that day, their blasphemous star children will descend from the void and elevate their worshippers. The creatures that infect the first victim act as scouts for a xenos race known as Tyranids. After creating a gene stealer cult, the scout evolves into something more complex, an entity called the Patriarch. The collective mind of the brood becomes a psychic beacon for the Tyranids, a beacon that marks the planet as vulnerable. Once the Xenos fleet approaches the infected world, the rebellion begins. The cult strikes the world's defenders in the back, while the Xenos devour all life on the planet. And the cult's true believers certainly do not find the ascension that they were promised. Instead, they all become a bioresource, food. Do you have anything more to add, Heinrichs? I would advise you to prepare for the worst. The cult could have been operating on the ship for a long time, in which case it might already have a small army at its disposal. And I'm not talking about infiltrators with a semi-human appearance. Such cults command strong, fast monstrosities whose claws tear through metal like paper. Psychically attuned mutants linked to the brood's collective mind, specialized abominations and elite specimens at the top of the cult's hierarchy. The enemy is dangerous and has many faces. So yeah, high-ranking Tyranids I think are regularly tough challenges for space marines. So for normal humans like us, if we went against an army that consists of at least multiple of the high-ranking Tyranids, we would just lose. Though the lower-level Tyranids, I think, are not as scary for normal people, like more possible to take out. But yeah, if there are any of the ranking Tyranids here, we don't stand a chance. Alright, let's return to interrogating the prisoner. In lieu of answering, Sauerback nods grimly, lost in troubling thoughts. How did the conspirators recruit you? I believed. I found him. I bowed to him. His angel's kin granted me a revelation. It entered my flesh. It let me join the congregation. The man's words devolve into nonsensical muttering. The interrogator touches his own neck in the same spot where the prisoner has his fresh scar. A sign of infection, I'm sure of it. I wish to know everything about your vile cult. We believe in the many-armed emperor, he who waits for his children, cast out into the unknowable abyss. He is kind, merciful. He uproots tyrannies of evil. He sends his angel to the righteous. An angel's kin follow. The man lowers his gaze with an expression of surprise. It seems he has described his paltry religion in its entirety. This is a pawn, a mindless tool. He was brainwashed and forced into submission. He is not even a distributor of ideology. He was merely fed the rudiments, and without trusting him with anything important, they sent him out to serve and die. What are you plotting? A mutiny? Death, yours. Even broken, he musters a spiteful sneer. Fake captain, the faithful are already aiming for your heart. I was ordered to stockpile weapons so that when the fateful hour comes, the righteous would not stand unarmed. I wouldn't say that these improvised Webbers are that much better than fighting with bare hands, but until we are done with the cleanup, every enforcer will carry a combat knife fit for cutting through nets. Where are you hiding? Where are your leaders? In a sanctuary, a tomb. For heretics, a quiet place. The dynastic crypt. The vermin have infiltrated the crypt, holding the bodies of the worthiest servants of the dynasty. No one is allowed inside save for the Lord Captain's personal retinue, and they dared. But how? The crypt's defenses are impenetrable. I presume our next objective is the Von Valentius dynastic crypt. Yes, your lordship, we must attack now while we still have the element of surprise. I will lead the strike force, but I will require your presence and Confessor Abelard's help. Adalbert's, not Abelard. Fierce machine spirits guard the dead. They won't let an armed troop pass without a direct command from the rogue trader and the ring of the ship's confessor. I will meet you at the doors. Casting a glance at the prisoner, whimpering incoherently under his breath, Sauerback adds offhandedly, "And this vile scum, with your permission, I'll throw out the airlock. I doubt he will be of any further use." He has proved far more useful than I expected. He must have been in the cult only for a short time, and the psychic connection to his brethren had not taken root in his mind. No amount of torture would have loosened his tongue otherwise. Heinrich frowns. Things are progressing too smoothly. I don't like it. An option if we were heretical. We are not. Out of the airlock he goes. Yeah, we're not leaving him here. There's no redeeming someone who's been infected by a gene stealer. He dies. He does not deserve an easy death. Give him to your enforcers for training in the executioner's craft. That's brutal. We're not monsters no matter what he thinks of us. Turn him in on the nearest colony for a life sentence on a penal world. No! No! You don't let the gene stealer plague spread. Super no. No, just throw him out of an airlock. That's fine. It will be done, your lordship. Okay. Well, the plot thickens. I guess let's figure out how to get out of here.
I won't tolerate weakness.
Not that way. It was this way. To the voidship bridge. So the voidship crypt. Do I need to go to the shrine first to talk to... I don't know if we need to, but I'm gonna go to the shrine to talk to Adalbert to see if he has anything to say, and we can also pray at the shrine to get a bonus in combat.
I'll lay claim to the stars.
The Emperor protects your lordship. What brings you to this holy abode? Okay, so he doesn't have anything to say. May the Emperor's blessings be with you, your lordship. Okay, we've said our prayer, gotten our bonus. Let's head down to the voidship crypt. And yeah, I think the same crew makes the most sense.